Hello and welcome to the Wooden Ball Show. I'm your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. And today we are missing Blake. I'm not sure where he is, but he couldn't join us today. But I am joined by two of our two special guests today. We have Cora and Marianne. Cora is a regular on the Puck and Awesome show that airs on Monday nights. And you can follow her on Twitter and on Reddit. You can talk to her at LordZod. And you can follow Marianne on Twitter at Saurus Puricent. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm horrible with names. You can talk to her on Reddit at Modest Mouse. So how you guys doing?
Good. It's French.
Yeah,
her Twitter.
I have problems speaking normal names, let alone other languages.
And it's not Modest Mouse. It's Mighty Mouse.
Mighty
She's
Mouse?
not the band.
Oh, that could be where I'm getting confused at. It's Mighty Mouse. Okay.
Because her Twitter handle is her Reddit one in French. Isn't
Really?
it? Yeah, she told me.
I have no idea.
Well, see, we're good friends.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can. Can you hear us? No?
Can you all?
Yeah. She's having problems. And there she goes.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll just head right into the NHL Quick Hits. I'm going to be relying on you a lot today.
That's okay, because I know both.
You know both. We're kind of lucky that you're here.
Yeah. I can do okay with both questions.
I lucked out very much this week. But yeah, the first thing on the agenda was Taves, and I know you talked about this on Monday night, but I haven't had a chance to talk to it, about it. And signed a twin 8-year contracts worth $80 million. What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, and I think I just have a weird perception based on other people. I understand how it's a large cap hit. I understand how people claim that despite the cap raising, it's not enough to cover what they will be losing with the other players. And they're already going to have to get rid of other players because they're over the cap.
Yeah.
But Taser and Kane are so much a part of.
They are their team, basically.
Yeah. It's like when you think of Blackhawks, you think of those two, really.
Yeah, I don't see who they could replace them with. They are two type of players that it's difficult to replace.
Well, and the Red Wings have already shown us that you don't need an all-star roster to go far. It's unfortunate that they're in the Central Division because that's just the division from hell.
Mm.
But it's
yeah.
If people desperately want to play with them, I think they will take the reduction, and they do those I don't know technically the word for it, you know more, where they juggle around the different how the salaries are yeah.
Yeah, I know that pretty well, I guess.
It's much more than I could say.
By year basis. And we're going to have to do it again this year because we are currently $2 million over the salary cap. But I don't know if they have anybody on long-term injury reserve that they could put out to get some cap hit back. I don't think they have anybody on long-term. I think the big cap that's going to kill them is Marian Hossa's the next couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good player and all, but I don't think he's going to be able to play at the same level he has been playing with his age.
That's true. I just, at this point, I think Hawks fans should look at it as a point. They've had
their success. They should stop.
They've had 2 Stanley Cups, within 2010, 2013, 3 years.
2010.
I'm losing what year it is. It's 2014. That's right.
I still refuse to believe that Stanley Cup happened.
Yes.
I'm still in denial.
That's okay. But and it's the way I see it with the Kings. I understand that you want your team to be like what it, the perennial team. It's not going to go your way every year, and even if you have your team in the playoffs every year for several, for a good long portion of time, I think that's really good. And seeing how the history of the Blackhawks were not doing that well before.
Oh yeah.
So this is quite a turnaround. And you have a GM, you have an owner who cares.
Mm-hmm. They had to be really happy because the owner they had beforehand was not fun. during their bad era, but his son
Yeah.
has completely helped turn that team around. So lucky to have him as
And I
their
think they have really awesome uniforms. So
yeah.
there's my opinion. So there.
And then the next signing that happened, I think, was yesterday or today. I've lost track of time too on all these signings. But Tyler Ennis signs a 5-year deal worth $23 million. It's to stay on the Sabres, who are going to be good within the next couple years. So I think that's a great deal for them.
Provides leadership with all these new guys that they are going to get from the Islanders
Yeah.
and everything else. Again.
They actually signed a lot of veterans this year during the off season too. So
Yeah. I don't know,
I mean,
but Sabres fans don't lose hope.
yeah, they're a team that has actually is rebuilding correctly. They have done an amazing job on their rebuild, and they are going to be scary in the next couple of years, like in 4 or 5 years when everything is kind of coming together.
Yeah. And you have Georgia still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's all we have for the quick hits. And if Marianne is able to talk, I'm not quite sure if she's able to. We're going to be heading into the Canes section. Though I don't think she is working, so you might have to start talking for her until she's able to jump in. That's okay. So
That's
the
fine.
next section is the Hurricanes section, and I'm not sure if you're able to answer this, but do you know how much you cried during this past season for this team?
I only cried when
Alright.
I was.
Oh, can you hear us, Marianne? No? No?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So we'll just actually kind of skip the crying question. What do you think is the big reason?
This past season?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gee. Well, there's a lot of people that claim that, with Ward and Khudobin out most of the time,
Yeah.
that
I mean,
was a huge
they
issue.
did lose their 2 big goaltenders, so.
I don't think that's the issue.
Mhm.
I didn't think that was mainly an issue. I thought that was an issue. But I thought there was a team issue.
Yeah, they're not really a built correctly team. It doesn't feel like.
No.
I mean, I watch them, a lot when we play them. And then again, the Flyers always have problems with them for some reason.
Oh.
Can you hear us? No. Anyway, yeah, the Flyers always have problems with them. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
That goal was a little funny by the resident Hobbit member.
Oh.
I did have to laugh.
Oh, what's his name? I forget his name.
Oh man, Gerby.
Gerby, yeah.
Gerby the
Between the
gerbil.
legs up into the air, up into the net.
Yeah.
That was just kind of the major point of the horrible portion of our season.
I think it was kind of like an icing on. Well, it was Shen. Wasn't it Shen that was on the ice then?
There was a bunch of people on the ice, but
It was
pretty sure
one
it
right
was Luke
there.
Shen he beat, and that kind of made everyone go up in arms about Luke Shen. Who would it be better if some team didn't destroy him, in my opinion.
Oh gee, how are we going to get to this conversation?
But I guess we'll cover that during the Toronto portion.
Oh gee, this is going to be fun. I can't wait.
But yeah, they don't seem like a really built team.
Well, it isn't even with that. It's more of a what's the word I'm using? An attitude problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember watching one of the games later on. I don't get many where I live, but I do get some. And the commentator was saying I think it was under Laviolette.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wrong. But anytime one of the players committed a stick infraction during practice, they had to go around and do like push-ups on the ice. I don't really know how that's possible, but okay. And do a bunch of laps. And basically what it did is it reduced the amount of stick infractions. Well, what do you know? You had a lot of stick infractions, mostly from 7. But that was the thing. And there was just no accountability. I can't tell you, because I can go to games really cheap if I visited my parents. I can tell you how many times I saw Stahl Eric. I didn't have this much of an issue with Jordan. Skating around, almost kind of like, where am I? Which I understand that, there's a point in how they play, but it seems so many times like they weren't really into it. They were getting their salary and that was it.
Do you think that the rest of the team's not caring is because their captain doesn't seem like he's caring?
Well, there's been a lot of talk that, it is the Facebook page, but there's been a lot of talk about getting rid of him as a captain. And obviously something's wrong with him because you could tell it seemed for the longest time that Gerby seemed like the one who was working hardest, or people on other lines.
Yeah.
And the first line was just like.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, they actually have a very good first line in Eric Stahl, Jeff Skinner, and Semin, right? I think
that's not. I think it's Toulouse. Slutty. Toulouse.
Oh, Toulouse. He's on their top line. Is he like 39 years old?
No.
How old is Jerry?
He's my age. He's my age.
20,
Is he young?
26.
Yeah, see, he's my age.
He's 26.
Oh, you can hear us, Marianne?
Yep.
Oh, yay. So,
It's working.
Did you agree with me with what I said about the behavior problem?
Yeah.
Because I know we've talked about it before.
Well, yeah, our PK, our power play and our power kill are like horrible. On the topic of like leadership and Eric Stahl, I don't know. I feel like a lot of fans jump to say, he's not a leader. Like, we're not in the locker room, so we can't really, tell. I do think that maybe stripping him of the C and like making people earn it would be a good idea. And it also seems like that Kirk Muller was kind of part of the problem. In like the exit interviews, you could see some of the players had a problem with him. I think it was
Ward.
like Falcon Ward. I don't know if you remember Ward. It was Ward. And yeah.
Well, it was definitely Ward.
And yeah, it was definitely Ward because he felt like he wasn't getting minutes he deserved or something along those lines.
He was, which is ridiculous.
He was injured like half the season, but and then I remember Falk saying they're like, was coaching an issue, and then he said yes. So that's something to wonder about.
Well, Peters did say.
And how much did I cry?
How much did you cry?
Go ahead. I cried a lot, actually. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I cried a lot because I'm also an NC State fan, and as you know, they're not a great team. So I'd be watching them back to back, and it was just like painstaking loss after painstaking loss, and I would cry.
They play in the same arena, so
my
it must be
emotions.
bad karma.
So
Can't
I
just
swear it's
take it away. Yeah. So you think the biggest problem you had this season had to have been the kind of
Well, she was right about the power play. I don't really know about the power kill, but the power play was pathetic.
Was it?
Well, you get like a biscuit thing. Well, remember how many times we used to sit there and think, are we going to get a Bowberry biscuit, and it never came?
No,
you
it
guys
never
get
came.
free stuff. What do you get? Free things, sir?
A free biscuit
Yeah, that's
at a really
how
southern
rare
place called Bojangles.
a power play goal is.
Things.
That we get a gift
Wow,
if they score on it.
Wow, my team would never allow
We
that.
get free biscuits. Our power kill wasn't that bad though. We scored like the highest number of shorties. If I remember.
I think Calgary did. We were second. The Canes were second.
Isn't it
How do
Calgary?
We were
Calgary.
leading for a while.
Though Calgary's not as bad as people made them out to be this year. They weren't that bad.
No, just in a horrible division.
They were in a horrible
We
division.
took
And they were average. And yeah, they're gonna get better though. But with Carolina, I never really got a chance to watch them. The only times I did were when they were facing the Flyers. And for some reason, you guys have our number. I never understood it. But yeah.
Didn't you guys? I don't know. The last game of the year against the Flyers was hilarious. I don't know
That
if
was
you remember
hilarious,
it,
and it was because of that game. The rookie goaltender that played, Cal Heater, he didn't get a contract. He didn't get a contract after that. Yeah, played one NHL game in his entire career, and we didn't offer him a second contract.
I feel kind of bad about that.
Yeah, he was an RFA.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. It was really, now that I think
Sorry
about it,
about
it was really sad because he took to Twitter after the game, was like, don't worry guys, next time I'll do better. And now I feel really sad about it.
Yeah.
I feel
I
bad.
don't know, it was really weird. Like, when we were eliminated, like, from the playoff contention, we were winning so many games that we didn't need to win. Like, a
It's
lot
pri-
of
it's
us
pride
just
at
wanted
that
to go
point.
for the tank, and then we, like, oh.
It's pride at that point, basically. I know with my team, when we missed the playoffs last year, right after we were mathematically eliminated, we won a lot more games than I thought we would. Well, because at that point, our team's like, we have nothing else to play for but our pride, so we're just going to go out and play. And it also coincided with the arrival of Steve Mason, so that could have had something to do with it. Or we didn't have Ilya Brizgalov as our playing almost every single game during the season. Of the 48 games of that season, he played 42 of them, so that was the season. But let's head into the offseason for the Hurricanes. You guys signed basically a lot of no-name players besides Jerry Toulouse. And Zach, so we also signed. So how do you
Hey,
feel
they got
about
McClement from us.
Jay
Leafs.
McClellan? Yeah. I don't consider the people on the Leafs a good players. Joke, complete joke. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know half the players we signed.
You signed Justin Shug.
To be honest.
Ben Holstrom was a Flyers prospect, but he's been in our system for a couple of years now, and he wasn't really much but a depth player. So, Michael Jordan. Jared Stahl, you guys signed again. You're not giving up on the Stahl family yet, it seems.
Oh my god,
I
I
think that's
don't
really
want him
just to keep
here.
the
I feel
family
like that.
together.
Yeah, I don't like him.
He,
Cannot skate.
from what wasn't everyone coming out and saying he was like the
Seen him
best
play.
of the. He was the best of the Stahls, but he was the laziest, so he never really tried.
That was
Like-
their dad, I think, or something.
Yeah,
Their
like
dad
said,
said that he was the best. Oh.
yeah, but he always felt like he was forced into it, so he never liked playing or something. But he's making money. He's making a contract, so he's dealing with it. For some reason, the Hurricanes aren't giving up on him. He also sad.
We
There's
should.
something you have to understand about this, David, is the Hurricanes organization. There is a thing in the South. I've lived here enough that I know, Marianne certainly will know, about the way of Southern politics
Okay.
in everyday life. Basically, it's who you know that gets you where you're going. Now, this idea on how you go about the world has permeated. This idea has gotten to the management of the Hurricanes. So that's why you see so many families staying together. That's why you had Carmanos hiring his son, which he then subsequently fired, and who I think now is employed by Pittsburgh that JR brought with him.
Yep.
But it's why you have these
Yep.
families together. It's why you have Gleason brought back. It's why you have all these players coming back.
Okay.
I mean,
I can
this
understand
is
it.
really why the Stahl brothers are together.
hmm I mean, I know for the Flyers, we signed a lot of our higher ups kids, and we have them as prospects on our AHL team. I know Peter Luco's son was part of us. We have Darian Hatcher's son was on our team for a while. JVR's brother was one of our prospects for a little bit. We had Kimo Timonen's brother. We signed a lot of the brothers. I mean, first off, we have the Shen brothers on our team now. We went hard after Luke Shen because we had his
also,
brother. What was that?
We signed Glenn Wesley's son. Well, we didn't sign him, but we drafted him in the recent draft. So kind of along the same lines. I mean, I feel like he wasn't going to get drafted by anyone else, but he's in our system now, I guess.
Well, see, JR had this whole, Marianne knows, JR had this whole system that we thought was going to change when Francis. I guess not really. But this is why you see JR draft Kapanen for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we all saw that coming. We all saw that coming.
We wanted to. We
were sitting in the bar. We were sitting in the bar or whatever, and we were like, we're gonna wait for the Penguins to see how he screws up, you know. And he picks Kapanen, and I feel so bad for Kapanen because Kapanen is a Phillies fan. Like, he's a big Flyers fan.
I mean, the guy we drafted was a huge Pittsburgh fan, so it makes sense. Yeah, but Kapanen, his father played for us for years. He is a beloved former Flyer. Everyone loves Sammy Kapanen here. He's like one of those players that walks on
I
water.
love him here too.
I mean, mainly because one
I
of the
love
things
him
that
here.
kind of cemented him as a fan favorite was during the 2004 playoffs. It was during the Leafs stuff when the Leafs last made the playoffs before last season. It was during that series where I forget who it was, but they destroyed Sammy Kapanen in a hit, and then he willed his way off the ice to make sure there's no stoppage. As soon as he gets off the ice, JR takes the puck up the ice and scores and sends the Leafs home for the next 8 years.
Haha. Thank you.
He's liked here as well.
Yeah, he was a very great player. But do you think your team's gonna make any more moves this year before the off season's over?
I hope we fire Jeff Daniels, but we're not. I know we're not.
Who's Jeff
But
Daniels? Is that your coach or?
AHL coach.
he's our coach. Yeah, and he's horrible. But maybe more depth signings for the Checkers. We signed John Muse again. He was our Checkers goalie. He did pretty well.
Okay.
Other than no, not really. We're not gonna make really. We actually just got a new goaltending coach, so that's exciting.
Mhm.
And
Do you think he's gonna help make Cam Ward less
hoping
injured?
he's good.
I don't know if that's going to work. I
I
think
mean,
what her comment is there's no development going on in the
Yeah, that's
AHL.
what he's broadened, I think.
Because Boychuk has been there for years. And what was he drafted like?
Zach
He was
Boychuk?
drafted pretty high. Yeah. It's just,
I'll
it's
look
just,
that up.
Free Boychuk, he's good. 09, right?
Was it?
yeah.
Looking it up. He was drafted in 08. 08 entry draft, 14th overall.
Basically, yeah, there is an issue with development not going on.
Okay, so I guess that's something you definitely did have your younger players develop so they can kind of fill out all the holes you have in your NHL team. And how do you think your team did in the draft this year?
I think they did well. I think they did very well. I think we haven't drafted a defenseman in a really long time, and so I'm pretty excited about that. And we also drafted a goalie. Like, our goalie prospect pool is horrible. We finally did not re-sign Mike Murphy. He's off in Europe somewhere, finally. And I think that gives a chance to, I know that, like, last time we got a goalie, it was like Frederick Anderson, and then he didn't sign with us. He signed with the Ducks, and now he's successful, and we're not. So I'm pretty bitter about that. But we got a couple defensemen, I think. That one goalie, and the Swedish guy in the later rounds. So I think we did. I think we did pretty well.
I mean, with Cam
That's
Ward's
just me.
contract, yeah, with Cam Ward's contract ending, it's gonna be easier to get goalies to want to stay with you guys because they don't see that big number one in front of them for stopping their path to get into the NHL. So it's gonna be easier once he. I doubt you guys are gonna re-sign him after he's done because of all his injuries. Do you think?
No,
No.
I don't think so. We'll see how it plays out, but I don't think we are.
Yeah.
We pay him so much. Well,
Do you think Anton Khudobin would be able to pick up the slack after he's gone until you have another?
oh, absolutely.
How did he do this year, Anton
Absolutely.
Khudobin?
I love Anton.
Win
He
or
did
die.
fantastic this year. He did
He said in
fantastic
the
this
interview,
year.
"Win or die."
We
He said
love
it was
Dobby.
like
Did he
win or
really?
die.
Oh,
So there
And
are
when he got
signs.
injured, he made a Lego truck. I remember when he was injured. I love them. The fans love them. We last year was the time for a lot of fan favorites to emerge, new fan favorites, and he was one of them, and deservingly so. He was great.
I mean, his stats aren't that bad at
Dobby's
all.
love.
Played 36 games, got a 2.3 goals against average, and then a 9.26 as a save percentage. That's not bad numbers whatsoever, actually. So he could definitely
He's
help you
great.
guys in the long run. If you guys are able to kind of build out from him, he would definitely help you guys. I mean, he's still relatively young at 28 years old, so yeah. I guess we're head into the season coming up. And overall, how do you feel about after this off season happened? How do you feel about the season coming up?
I feel really happy, I guess, or I don't know, I'm a bit more positive than other fans. I'm a bit more hopeful. I like our signings. A lot of them we did. Let's see. I'm gonna be more. Yeah, I'm optimistic. How about
Okay.
that? I really like our new coach, Bill Peters. Seems like a nice guy.
Mhm.
Or
You have a new
I like
GM
his
this year, I
system.
believe. So
Dude brought a
The new
PowerPoint
GM.
presentation and a book for his interview. Like, he was like way over prepared.
You always want a coach that's kind of like that, though, who's ready, he knows what he wants to do. There's always such great type of coaches.
Bill. We have a nickname for him already. His name is Hammer Hands. That's his nickname. That's how like he's gonna give the hammer to whoever doesn't perform well on the ice. He's gonna
Oh
hammer
yeah,
the
he
right
did
time.
say that. It's great.
And you guys got a new GM this year, right?
Yep.
What's your overall kind of grade on how he did this off season?
Well, he didn't have a lot to work with. We don't really have that much money, but I do like the signings he made and the re-signings he made. Like I'm really happy we have Talusti, and I really happy we have Hainsey back.
Mm-hmm.
Hainsey like took a discount to stay with us. I'm really happy he did that. So pretty happy with the re-signings and new signings and the
That's good.
drafting.
Yeah.
So and he's changing the atmosphere of hockey in the PNC Arena. It's a very very family friendly atmosphere when you go inside to the PNC Arena, and I think he's changing that up a bit. He fired like Ron Lorette. I don't know how to describe Ron Lorette, but he's gone. But
And the
he's
music
changing, I
guy's
don't know.
gone too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, the music guy's gone.
Thank God.
The music guy's gone. Thank God.
What's so bad about the music?
Finally.
Have you
It was
heard
horrible.
the goal horn?
No. What's the goal horn from?
Oh my God. Our goal horn
I'm looking up
is
the goal horn
worst
right
goal-
now. I want to hear this goal horn.
There's freaking Chewbacca in it. There's
This
Chewbacca
guy,
and Fred Flintstone in it.
he's like he laid on. He's like has a soundboard. He's like, I'm just gonna put Flintstone and Chewbacca and all these random character voices, cartoon voices in the middle of the
We
goal
have Ric
horn.
Flair in our goal horn. That's where
Yeah.
Ric Flair the woo comes from. It comes from us.
Yeah, also, whenever Skinner scores, they do the whole Skinner amongst the other animal noises and grunts.
I'm listening to it right
Our
now.
music guy. Oh my God, the music's horrible. They always play Wagon Wheel, and I kind of hate that song. I don't know. I have a problem with it.
Wagon Wheel is one of those songs you only like when you have a bunch of your friends and you've been drinking and you're at a bar and it comes on.
Well, that's usually how it happens.
That's the only time I ever have liked that song. That and the other song
Every
we always
single
used to sing.
every single event here in the Carolinas will play that song
Oh, wow.
every single time. So
This
annoying.
must be a new thing because when I was in high school, I remember going to basketball games and stuff like that, and I don't remember hearing any of that stuff.
Wagon
totally
Wheel only
took
came
me
out
for
in the
some
last
surprise.
2 years, so.
Oh,
2 years
see, I
old.
didn't do anything last year.
3 years old. It came out, I think, my junior year of college or senior. No, senior year. It came out. It came out 2 years ago, I believe, actually.
Well, see, honestly, even though my parents live back there, the first time I went, the last games I went to were in 2006 and 2009.
Really?
This was the only year that I actually went back to go
Once the
watch
playoffs.
games.
It came out in oh, never mind.
Well,
It
those
came
were
out
during
in
the holidays.
2004.
Except for the playoff games that I was there for, it was only during the holidays.
I kind of just became a Hurricanes fan about 2 years ago. So like
But you're
during the
young.
lockout season.
Yeah, you're relatively
Well,
young.
I know I am, but
I mean, it's
Yeah.
better to get on at the lower end so you can experience everything, experience the up and downs of
Yeah.
your team. So, and now you can say I've been here since the bottom, and I can finally find us at the top, hopefully one day.
yeah, we were horrible. started from the bottom. We're still there.
So do you hate me that I've been to a Stanley Cup final game? Game 7. Dave.
I do believe. Yeah, you told me that. I want to.
You're at a game. What game 7 were you at? You were at the.
I was at the 2006 Game 7.
Okay.
It was pretty cool.
Lucky.
How many people can say that?
You said you were positive about you're happy about this upcoming season. Do you think because of that you're going to be buyers this year with how your team kind of had this off season? Do you think you're going to finally be buyers at the deadline? Trade deadline?
Still no. I don't think so.
You still think you're going to be about middle of the pack, not quite in the playoffs yet?
Maybe, maybe not. It all really depends. I can't really speak until I see a couple of games, see how Bull Peters coaches, like his coaching style. I wouldn't really, and so yeah. But I am optimistic. I'm crossing my fingers that we'll make it into the playoffs. I am one of the more hopeful maniacs.
Okay.
But
and
yeah.
I know we spoke about Jared Stahl a little bit.
Field.
Yeah. Spoke about Jared Stahl a little bit. Do you think he's finally going to live up to his family name and make it up to the big club?
What do you mean by that?
Do you think he's going to
I guess.
be on the NHL team, or do you think he's just going to be a career AHLer at this point? No?
I don't know. You're using an enigma. I don't know what will. If Eric Stahl is lazy, then he's bad. But when he's good, he's like really good. You just don't know which Eric Stahl you're gonna get every night.
Yeah, like that Blue Jackets game, the Stahl brothers, when they.
I said Jared Stahl, not Eric.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm saying.
Jared Stahl.
Oh, Jared
I don't
Stahl?
see them-
Oh no, Jared Stahl. Jared Stahl, no. He's
You
a
don't think
career
he's gonna finally make it up?
AHLer. He shouldn't even be in the AHL. He should be in the ECHL for all we know. I don't know why he's still here.
They're going to bring him up so they can do the 11, 12, 13 thing again. Or 10,
probably. That's
11, 12 numbers.
No, they're going to, next time they do is when they finally get Mark Stahl in the trade. Or whatever.
I don't even... Well, isn't Mark Stahl a free agent after this year?
I think he might be a free agent within the next couple of years.
He's going to go with the team that's going to get the Stanley Cup. Do you realize how hard it would be having your brothers Jordan and Eric both having Stanley Cups? And then I was thinking the whole entire finals this year. I kept thinking, Jordan and Eric are up there in the stands and saying, "Come on, Mark!" And then Game 5, or what was it? Game 5 that they won.
Game 6. Oh, Game 4, the Rangers won. Game 5 or 6, I thought it was.
So bad.
Yeah.
For.
Everyone was like, soon as if Mark ever wins it, he's just gonna pick up the Stanley Cup and just spike it on the ground and be like, "Yeah, guys, I can do it too."
Then Jared's up in the corner crying.
Yeah. So,
Jared, I don't know. I'm sorry. I feel bad for him, but.
Well, they let him stay at their lake houses. That's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't know, they have lake houses next to each other.
That's adorable.
In Thunder
Which
Bay,
is a little
right?
bit too close. Yeah. They have a room set aside for Jared, who isn't married. Just like a bunk bed.
I swear, he's getting married. He's getting engaged or married in the off season.
Oh, he is?
Because I remember.
Well,
okay, this is the joke, but you know how the U.S. Open was in Carolina?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's every year, but they were in at the U.S. Open after the season ended. They were in Pinehurst, golfing. But they were like, yeah, and then we're gonna after the U.S. Open, they went back up to Thunder Bay for like his marriage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not alone in that anymore. Okay, go
He's only
Jared.
23 years old, so he still has time. Jared Stahl. He still has time. He's 23. He's as old as I am.
Oh yeah, so old.
Yeah. I'm saying he's young. I'm saying that he is young. Also, how you doing, Blake? I see you finally joined us.
Yes, hello. Hello, all.
Welcome.
So that means, Corey, you're going to have Blake asking you questions, so you should throw my questions out the door.
Oh really? Oh no.
So, we have 3 questions to kind of end the Hurricanes portion of this. It is who do you think is going to score the most goals on your team this year coming up?
Good question. I feel like Gerby. I don't know, Gerby, and maybe if Talisi can get it together, him. He was very good in the shortened season, so yeah.
Okay. And who do you think is going to score the most points on your team?
Skinner.
Skinner. And say everything goes to shit, and you lose almost all your games. Who do you think is going to be thrown under the bus on your team?
Stahl and Ward, as every single year we do bad. Stahl and Ward.
Okay, so.
I think the Facebook page will implode.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the Facebook page is horrible. It's always like, blow up a team, fire Stahl.
Hey, but you and I have been to games together where people are saying, take out Ward. Get him out.
Oh yeah.
Take him out.
Remember the game against Montreal? The lady behind us hated Ward with a passion. She was booing Ward the whole time. She was like, I hate Cam Ward. Why is he still out there? And I was like, oh my god.
Okay, so that kind of ends our Hurricanes portion of this talk. After about like 45 minutes.
In case you didn't realize, Marianne and I are friends in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I carpool with her, and she buys me tickets, and I pay her back. And she buys me barbecue nachos. So
now it's your turn, Blake, to take over everything. So have fun answering his questions, Cora, because I have no clue what they're going to be.
Oh,
I feel like you've thrown me to the wolves.
I'm throwing you to the Blake.
Oh, come on now. My questions follow the script, but not word for word, of course. But you know,
yeah, they do, yeah.
I'm really nervous.
They're generally the same question.
Yeah, they generally are. He's not that bad, don't worry. I'm building up to be this horrible person, but he's not bad.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome. Take it away.
We'll reset. This is the Wooden Ball Show. I have just joined. Yes, I have just joined. You just heard Dave with
Cora and Marianne.
Yes.
We're talking about the Hurricanes.
With Carolina, yes. And now I will take over. We will talk with Cora here. I believe she's a co-host of one of our shows here on our HockeyCast, the Puck and Awesome podcast, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. And and I forget when you can hear that.
It's Mondays, usually at 9:30.
Alrighty. I was trying to plug your show. But now we will discuss the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, you know, you could probably just have a whole entire half-hour show talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs and you know, what went wrong with the team this year. But we'll try to give the very condensed version of it.
What's the fun in that?
Well,
Hey, at least we have JVR still.
Yeah.
We'll
We have a playoff team.
oh.
We have water bottle police, so there.
I'm gonna mute myself now.
You
So
still
I
have
can
your
tell the
crappy
We'll start with looking back into the next season. Now, what I do with this is I'm going to let you introduce us to how the team did last season, and then we'll break it down per different aspects of the team, you know, offense, defense, whatnot. So just give us an overview of how the Maple Leafs performed last season.
Well, they started out good. I started out doing well. And then towards the end, I can pinpoint the day I pretty much started crying. That day would be Sunday, March 16th, the game against Washington, because then it started a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game losing streak. They won 2 games, which was okay, but enough to knock us out of playoff contention, and then lost the final 4 games. So it started out well, and then it went really, really bad. Because they were usually hovering in the top three in the Atlantic Division, and there was so much hope that we'd get to the playoffs again, and then no. But I think many unfortunate spots. You could talk about Corsi. You could talk the numerous shots. You could go with the Pittsburgh game. Did they only get one shot during that entire period? I can't remember. You can talk about the problems that they had with Reimer in yelling at Reimer. And then you could go to the bright spot, which I think would be the Phil. And
the only bright spot.
That's about what I have. The Phil did well.
And that's our segue into the offense. We'll talk about the Phil and kind of go over just how the rest of the offense performed.
Yeah, I mean, what did he get? 37 goals? Was that right? If I'm reading this right? Yeah, so he ended up with 80 points. 1 point short of his number, which would have been nice. It would have been a nice thing if he had 81 points, but whatever. I can do it. Thank you. That's enough.
Alrighty. Well, now we'll talk about the defense.
I don't even know where to start on this. Well, here's this. As a team effort, I can't remember what the average shots that they had going on a night because it was ridiculous. They were one of the leaders in the leagues in shots against every game. That should not be happening. Phaneuf, I know he's the captain. I have my own issues with Phaneuf missing the net. I guess he's good in the locker room. I don't know.
He doesn't fit Phaneuf. Haha, get it? No.
Hey, they won the Winter Classic. That's also a bright spot. Now that I think about it, they won the Winter Classic.
Boo. Horrible joke. Boo.
I tried.
I think Robidoux is going to be good. He's a little bit old. It's older than you kind of need, but I have hope. I hope that they re-sign Gardner, although having hope doesn't really help. Holak's fine. I have no problem with Riley. I'm trying to. The people who left, as always. I don't know. We still have Bernier. I'm kind of happy that they signed Santorelli from Vancouver. I thought he did well over there until he had his elbow injury. And in the draft, oh man, I think that Islander kid's going to be pretty good. Oh man.
I'll jump in to save you here, only to throw you to the wolves again.
I just don't know what to talk about, dude.
Well, yeah. Next, kind of go into the goaltending and how that was last year. That was probably, from an outsider standpoint, one of the more polarizing aspects of the Maple Leafs, one of the more interesting parts of the team last season.
Oh yeah, the fan base? You talking about how the fan base reacted?
Well, I mean, just how the goalies, how they performed, and I guess if you want to throw in some fan base stuff.
Oh, I mean, I can't fault them. I really can't. I think Carlisle was not helpful with Reimer. I think Carlisle has completely destroyed Reimer in his confidence. It was pretty obvious early on that Bernier was kind of his favorite because Reimer had a lot of the starts, and then it was kind of like Reimer had to work for his starts again, and you could just see his confidence waning. But then again, I can't blame. There's some things that angered me, the goals that went in, or I was like, you should have had that. But again, like I said, when you have a team facing, when you have a goaltender facing that many shots a night, something's got to give, and it's a shame. But that's really just the way that Carlisle has coached the team, I feel like.
And that's man, you were good at segues. You know that?
Me?
Because yes, you mentioned Carlisle at the very last of your thing there, which brings us into the coaching part.
Oh, he can't operate a toaster. I think that's pretty indicative of how he is as a coach. Or something. Can I say that? That's how I feel.
Alrighty.
Here he is. Okay, I did look it up. Toronto was 30th in shots against a game, just below Ottawa and Buffalo, but at 35.9. That's ridiculous. Because I do know there was a game where Reimer was in goal, and he had like 50 shots hurled at him one game. And in I think he only let in one or shootout goal or whatever. But it was only but during the game he only let in one goal. I may be completely wrong, but I seem to remember that because that was the game that he kind of did he's very religious, so he did the pray to the sky thing after he caught it. But Carlisle, speaking of Carlisle, I think, actually, going back to this, since Marianne was at the game, we were at total different spots, but we were watching it together because we were there the same day because it was Marianne's birthday, during the blowout loss by the Hurricanes for the Leafs. And I just remember sitting there, and because
it was fantastic.
I could see right into the Leafs bench, and I could see Carlisle's face, and then I got home, and then I rewatched it online. And I could see his face, and it was that typical face where he does that, like, of course, they let in another goal. And I was like, your team isn't even playing like a team, and is playing like they don't even know how to play hockey. And it's almost like he had nothing to say. And so many times during the season would I see that. And, also during a thing, he said during a press conference about Reimer. Was it about Reimer? Yes, it was. He says, he was okay. He was just okay. I thought he was just okay. When you have a goaltender that's already having issues, and you've already declared your favorite to be Bernier, pretty much, not in so many words, but in the way you act, and then you go out there and you act like that about your players, I just don't think. I think he's the reason Reimer's going to be gone. I think it's the reason a lot of our players are going to be gone, or because he wants grit and it goes against Randy's system. I think Kadri eventually is going to go because of this, and that's a shame because I think Kadri's done very well. He did step up to be a number one center. He's in a number one center, but he did very well for the time period that he was in when Bozak was injured. I just don't like Carlisle.
Yeah.
I think I was driving when I got the alert, and I about swerved off the road in anger. So.
Okay, and now looking into the off season now, the free agency and trade acquisitions. This is kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
Oh gosh, my mind is drawing a blank. Help me out here, Dave. What do I usually ask at this point?
What are you talking about now?
Off-season, free agency, whatnot.
How do you what big name free agents did you guys sign this year, and what big name free agents did you lose this year?
Big name?
Yeah, I know you got not like names that most people might know. So you said you lost James Clement or whatever I think his name was. What was his name?
I think I mentioned it. I think the biggest name, because they really haven't been been big names because we lost Bolland, we lost Raymond. We did sign Komarov, which I don't. Does that classify as a free agent since he was from over the KHL?
Yeah, it does. He's still
Okay.
Yeah.
Komarov was big. I think he was only big in terms of the Leaf fan base because the fan base were really big on him. You know, I would say it'd have to be Romanov.
Okay.
I mean, he was moved around trade deadline to the Ducks from Dallas, right? After he broke, and then he re-broke. So that's the only thing that really I'm concerned about. I shouldn't say bothers me, is his leg or ankle or whatever he did break, and how his strength will be. But, you know, he's a decent enough defender. There hasn't really been any big names. That's...
you guys signed, what was his name? You guys lost Nikolai Kulemin.
Yeah, but, you know, he was friends with who, Grabowski?
I think so, yeah.
So, you know, since Carlisle drove out Grabowski, I'm not really surprised that Kulemin has left.
Yeah. You guys lost Mason Raymond. How do you feel about that?
I'm really neither here nor there, to be
Mason
honest.
Raymond. Okay, so there wasn't really many other people. I know you already touched on Dave Bolland, T.J. Brennan. I'm not sure.
I mean, he has the equivalent of our Clarkson contract.
Okay,
so
that is true. He did sign for like
Florida.
$5 million a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty content with the people we have staying already. Like I said, I want Gardner to stay. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I prefer it because he's an RFA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, I just now remembered my two-part question. Looking into all the free agency and the trade acquisitions so far, did the team do what they should have done in these free agency acquisitions, and does that compare to what you personally would have liked to have seen the team do?
I don't think they did something incredibly stupid, but I don't think they did something incredibly smart. I've been pretty meh the whole time. I was expecting horribleness, I guess I should say. I was expecting more like deals that would make me bang my head against the desk like the Clarkson one. But nothing's really made me say anything. And with all the big names floating about, it was obvious that a lot of them either didn't want to go to Canada or didn't want to stay in Canada or wanted to go to a cup contending team. And to be honest, I think as long as Carlisle is there, I don't really see anything happening. I have to tell you, the only thing I'm really interested with this next season, and I have been since it was announced, is I'm much more interested in how Shanahan's going to act now. So I'm interested to see what his role is going to be within the organization.
Now, looking ahead into the rest of the offseason and the free agency period and whatnot, another two-part question, kind of similar deal. Would you expect to see the team do anything, and would that compare to you personally wanting to see the team do something?
Personally wanting?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the only thing I know Reimer has filed for arbitration, but I'd rather see him leave, if only for his own sake. I mean, that's the only. I mean, that's. I don't. At this point, I don't really know. I will have more of an opinion, I would say, come September when everything's more in stone. But so much of it, like I said, I've just been very mad over it. Because I didn't see us signing players like Ginla, you know? I didn't see stuff like that happening.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, if they want... People have already stated they want to stay out of Canada or Toronto. So, I mean, I'm not really that surprised. I would like to see us in the playoffs next season, but like I said, with Carlisle still as coach, although they may pull a Laviolette thing and fire him after 3 games or whatever. Who knows?
3 games into the season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell anymore.
Okay, now let's look into the draft. let's talk about your draft picks, and let's also talk about the trade you made during the draft, giving up Gunnarsson, getting Polak, and I forget which team got the draft pick. I think it was St. Louis.
I mean, I'm excited with Nylander. Not only is he a Swede, but he's a talented Swede. He's a skilled Swede. I'd like to see him make the team. I don't know if he probably isn't. He's probably going to go to the Marlies. I thought he could have gone higher, but I was happy with it. But the trade with St. Louis, like I said, I don't know if I said earlier, I was sad to see Gunnarsson go, but I guess a trade is a trade. Getting a pick. With picks, I don't know. It's all about what I would see as the development within the Marlies organization and how that comes about. We have had some good call-ups from the Marlies this past season. I don't really pay that much attention to them, to be honest, though. I don't pay much attention to AHL.
Now, regarding the draft day trade, from our perspective, from St. Louis's perspective, we were also equally sad to see Roman Polak go, but I noticed the only reasons people gave for not liking the trade at all were just intangibles. He's good with the puck. He plays every minute. He is a tough guy. All that. And then we compare his stats to Gunnarsson's stats, and we're like, whoa, that was a pretty good trade on our part.
Yeah. I don't, I'm excited. I didn't watch very many St. Louis games except for the playoffs, and we all know how that went.
Don't remind me.
I do know getting killed by St. Louis when we were there. I do know that they lost the game in St. Louis. It was pretty much a blowout. I can't remember how it turned out when it was at home. But St. Louis, I felt like he was an accomplished. I should say this: he didn't stick out to me, which means he wasn't overly impressive, or he wasn't overly horrible.
That's kind of how he's been. Especially the past 2 seasons. He's with Polak. I was neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think my thing is I really would like to see the continued development of Morgan Rielly, and with him and Robidas there, I think it would be really beneficial for Rielly to learn from. I mean, Phaneuf staying, we've got that. So it's good for Rielly. It leads they've gained leadership, I should say, if that's a PC term to use.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. And now looking ahead into the next season, I guess the question would just simply be, compared to the division or the conference, where would you see Toronto ending up?
Well, I think we'll do better than the Senators. I think it's hard. I have to go through it. I think I'd really like to see us do better than Montreal. I don't know. I could see us hanging neck and neck in there with Montreal. Drouin makes me a little scared, so that's the only reason I'm concerned about Tampa Bay. So I definitely see. I could see Toronto pulling maybe a 3rd or 4th in division, but that's hopeful thinking. I would like to see 2nd, but this, like I said, the Tampa Bay and Montreal scare me more of, and Boston always scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Their fans or their team?
The team.
Or the Kessel trade.
Both.
Oh.
Although they did win the last game. It was in overtime. They did win the last game against Boston in April, so that's something. That's about all I have.
Is their team always good against Boston?
That was the last win. They
Oh.
were, but then I'm constantly reminded it was 4-1, so what will you take from that?
Well, okay. Now this question I like to pose to our team representatives. I don't know if Dave asked this one to Marianne. I actually kind of doubt it, to be quite honest. Dave,
What'd I do?
glary eyes. Cora and
I'm a little
Marianne
scared.
with
I'm a little
your
scared.
team, and no, it'll be fine. With your team and with Carolina, we'll start with you, Cora. Give us a timetable. Less than 5 years, something like that. Give us a
Yeah, I didn't ask
timetable.
this question.
of-
I didn't ask this question.
I knew it, Dave. Give us a
sorry, Molly.
timetable of when you could see Toronto being in the playoffs.
You really hate me, don't you? I thought it was going to be this year, and then
You thought wrong.
they proved yes. I thought wrong.
This year, maybe they won't fuck up. They won't mess
I
up
don't.
as
I don't
bad.
have. You know the people I have faith with. I have faith in Bozak and Phil and JVR. I do not have faith in Carlisle. Does that help? So my thing is, as long as Carlisle continues to be coach, I am much more hesitant. I would like to see it within 5 years. I think once in 5 years is good. I'm really pessimistic. Don't blame me. The sports I
Alrighty.
follow make me pessimistic. I would
Mhm.
hope in 5 years there would be one playoff appearance.
Well, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's all I
Okay,
have.
yeah. Alrighty, Marianne. The same question to you. When would you see Carolina being in the playoffs?
I'm a little more optimistic than Cora, or Corey, or whatever. And if Bill Peters can pull it together the upcoming season, or the season after that, I think we can make it to the playoffs. So, there.
Alrighty.
I'm confident. I'm confident in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now our three final questions, which I do know
I did
Dave
ask
asked
them. I
Marianne.
did ask these ones.
So now these last three questions to you, Cora. The first question: who would you think? Who would you predict to be the Leafs' top goal scorer and/or top points getter when the season is all said and done?
Is this even a question?
This
I
is
see
this
Phil.
is even a question, yeah.
I see Phil.
The
Alrighty.
fill for every.
The Phil gets
Every
everything.
Now, and
Well,
you know,
I see Phil for both of them, and that's. I think he just has a
It's
way
not
to
a bad
prove
guess.
yeah.
Well, if you look at it, you've got the first, except for Kadri because he filled in for the first line. The first liners technically are all in the top four. Bozak does pretty well considering he was out for a large portion of the season. But you have Phil and JVR up there. JVR, I mean, you have Phil with 37 goals and 43 assists, but you have JVR with 30 goals and 31 assists, which is pretty dang good,
Mhm.
Do you have to say, I mean, it's a shame the plus-minus numbers are horrific.
Plus minus is a flawed team stat.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but it's also the Leafs, so take that way you will.
Now, I will.
But I think
I will
it's going to be
include. Yeah, go ahead.
I do think it will be pretty similar, that Phil and JVR, because they work together so well. JVR is called the Pigeon by Giroux, so he will get those dirty goals.
Yes.
And I will add the late disclaimer to those two questions. I asked the same thing to Andrew, a resident Islanders fan, and they're just John Tavares and everyone else. So I asked that to everyone. Anyway, I guess you also answered the second question there. You think the Phil for both of the for those first two there. This one's going to be the more exciting one here, the more interesting one, because this one's going to have a whole host of people to pick from. I'm going to use the word if, but you might be using the word when for this one.
You guys are so horrible to me.
I had to throw that one in there, but anyway, if things were to go bad for Toronto, who would be the player that would be thrown under the bus? Who would be the public enemy number one?
I think it's going to go Carlisle. Well, it depends. I should say it depends on how the players perform, personally, if that makes more sense. But Carlisle, Shanahan, and Nonis are definitely going to be there to begin with. Mostly because Shanahan's going to be there because Nonis has been kept in as GM. Depending on how the Stars do, if they're having an okay season, then I don't suspect Phil or JVR really are going to get as much heat, or they're just going to get more like, you didn't hustle enough on the ice or whatever. That's my personal thing. I think Bernier, but then again, I think I could see definitely what happening to Bernier, what happened to Reimer, but Phaneuf definitely, and Lupul, mostly because I'm assuming they're going to keep their leadership positions on the squad, and Phaneuf does like to seem to be a punching bag for the fans, mostly because of the promises he made. Lupul, again, because he's one of the ones that is very active in talking to the media, so he would get the brunt of questions in the locker room, I feel. I mean, even if Phil was even asked, I don't think he really answered questions well. He doesn't really to begin with. So we just didn't try hard enough or whatever. So I mean, I could really Lupul and Phaneuf, because I feel like they're the most who are the most out front with their opinions on the team, and then Carlisle especially, just because he's Carlisle. Oh, and Clarkson will too, because of his horrific contract.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, you're not scoring goals and doing whatever the heck you want. And he was the punching bag this last season, so he'd still continue to be the punching bag, I think.
Gotta have someone to protect those water bottles. That's what they're paying him for.
Yeah, Bernier needs his water bottle protected.
Alrighty. Dave, pull up the draft order, please.
I already have it up. I have it up.
Alrighty.
Ready this time.
Yes.
Took me about 4 weeks.
Alrighty, let's tease into next week.
We will have the Jets and the Senators.
Very interesting there.
Also depressing fan bases. So.
Well.
Yes.
I love the Senators. I love them.
See, this is the problem we have with our friendship, Marianne.
I love them. I think fans are like some of the nicest fans on the planet. I love them. And I love Erik Karlsson. And I love Bobby Ryan. So they're my second team. And I hope they do well this season, but I feel like they're not. But I mean, they lost Spezza, and they lost, some of their. I wish them the best. So yes.
Alrighty. I believe that will do it for us.
Yes.
I'm going to leave the identifying people and whatnot to Dave this week.
Okay, so I want to thank everyone for listening to us. I'd like to thank you two girls for joining us. We loved having you on the show. You were a lot of fun to talk to. You helped me out for the first portion of this show before Blake showed up to kind of take over. So, and you two are Marianne and Cora. You can find Cora on our Puckin' Awesome show, which is on Mondays at 9:30. You can talk to her on Twitter at Velociraptor, and you can talk to her on Reddit at Lorazod. You can talk to Marianne on Twitter at Sourest Purinus. I can't pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
Siri Puissant.
That,
Oh.
yes. And you can talk to her on Reddit at Mighty Mouse. Not Modest Mouse, as I was calling it earlier.
Oh
She's a
no.
great band,
Yeah,
though.
Mighty Mouse. She's not a band. She's not a band. I'm sorry. You can follow me on Twitter at Blinson1, or you can talk to me on Reddit as user Blinson. You can talk to Blake on Reddit at BTownBomb, or you can talk to him on Twitter at ChatMyKirk. Tonight we should be having the Our Hockey Cast after hour show, I believe. They haven't been done in a couple weeks, so I'm not sure if it's actually going to be on tonight. But if it is, it should be on between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. I'm not sure what time they actually start. It's really all for
Tune
patch.
into that one, folks. They provide you with good hockey insight and a lot of slapstick comedy, I guess. It's
A lot of food talk, so if you're hungry,
it's
like
fun.
a
You'll
show to listen to
enjoy
if
it.
you're hungry. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You can find this episode and all our other episodes on our website, rhockeycast.com. You can go to our subreddit, which is r/rhockeycast. You can follow us on Twitter at rhockeycast. You can go to our YouTube account, which is going to have every single video we have, which is also rhockeycast. And does anybody have anything else they want to say before we head out?
Did you mention the website too?
Yes, I said you can find all our shows at our website, rhockeycast.com.
rhockeycast.com. Alrighty.
Yes. So if no one has anything else, I guess we're going to say goodnight. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.
Adios.